Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 4 to 5. Eric Chilton here with Lauren Coleman and Chad Silva. Active day today.
Active day and a big day for you.
Big day from a weather standpoint. We're looking at a chance of thunderstorms that could go into the night. In fact, we think it's probably later tonight that we see a more heavy thunderstorm profile, but still, we're watching out there.
I know. I saw that Tim had put on Twitter that there was like a little storm cell moving across North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
right now.
Shortly, yeah. So I mean, that's I know they're keeping their eye on it as well.
Yeah, it's just light to moderate there for now, but things could change later on. Let's go ahead and talk about it. We've got, big changes for us in our forecast, not only from a storm chance situation, but from temperatures as well are going to change dramatically in the next 24 to 48 hours. So looking at the radar now, not as active as it could be. Some of the heavier showers are up north of Martinsville. That is drifting a little bit south and east. So Martinsville and Danville could get a heavier shower or thunderstorm in the next little bit. There's that cell that Chad was referring to right over North Wilkesboro, moving by the Speedway as we speak, but it is a light shower at this stage. And again, that can change as we head into the next little bit. You see, it's fairly significant right there, and that is very close to where the Speedway is. Everywhere else we're looking okay, but when you look at the big picture here, it's been a mess up toward Kentucky and parts of Tennessee as well. We've had tornado warnings up that way already. Now, a lot of that could stay to the north of us. That remains to be seen, but we still have to talk about the slight risk of maybe an isolated tornado with this system, more likely in our mountain and foothill communities than across the Triad. They were predicted at a level 3 out of 5 today, and that's upwards of Allegheny, Ashwaubenon counties. And then once you get into the Triad, it's a level 2 out of 5. So something that we'll still watch. I think an isolated severe thunderstorm is more likely later tonight, but the tornado situation is probably less likely. But we're here and ready to go just in case stranger things have happened. You can see that cold front that'll push down to the south for our Wednesday. We'll see a change in temperatures by the time we get into Thursday and Friday. In fact, much cooler air will start to move in, and then just the opposite on the backside of all this. So let's go over this tonight. The evening thunderstorms before midnight, and again, we're looking maybe in that 7 to 8 o'clock time period. You might see things kick up a little bit, 8 or 9, thereabouts. The overnight low fairly mild at 62. Tomorrow, we'll still make it to 80, partly cloudy, less humid, but as we head into the few days after that, big changes. Thursday, Friday, low to mid 70s. That's 6 degrees below normal for your Thursday, but it's clear out there, partly cloudy skies. Saturday and Sunday, we do have a rain chance. It's a 30 to 20%. Not a great one, but we'll watch for that. Looks like the race may be in good shape. 78 Saturday, 80 on Sunday, and we'll hold at 80, which is right around normal for us for Monday and Tuesday. It'll be dry and comfortable with partly cloudy skies to start next week.
In just a few hours, and of course, weather permitting, the green flag drops on an important race. The first race at North Wilkesboro Speedway in a long time.
WFMY News 2's Hannah Jeffries has been out there all day on the track talking to folks. Hannah, what an exciting day.
I have to tell you guys, today has been so much fun. Everybody is in such a good mood. They're so excited for the camping and the racing. But one thing everyone comments on is just the pure nostalgia of racing being right back here for the first time in decades at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Randy Woodrow and his son came down from Boone to enjoy All-Star Race Week. They're prepared to call the camper home for a few days as they get in and out of the Speedway. Woodrow says they went to every race at North Wilkesboro this past August and wanted to be here this week to support the track.
There's a certain amount of history in the atmospheric conditions here that I hadn't felt it yet, but later on in the week when it really gets busy, it'll show up.
Thousands of people are coming from all over to enjoy the races. Joan and Peter Dougal made a pit stop on their way up north to see the revitalized grounds.
The legend, the whole history with the track, and I think it's great that NASCAR is coming back to its roots. And thanks to Dale Jr. and everybody that worked on this, because I knew it took a lot of work, and the facilities are beautiful.
Yeah, and I heard Harvick is racing tomorrow.
Now everybody has been going in and out of the Speedway today, checking out those late model cars. They've been practicing and qualifying for tonight's race. The drivers are getting ready to sign autographs here in just a few hours, and then those drivers, they start their engines at 7:30, and everyone is very happy about that. For now, live in North Wilkesboro, I'm Hannah Jeffries, WFMY News 2.
Great stuff. Thanks, Hannah. North Wilkesboro Speedway is not only welcoming people back for the first time in 27 years, but many of the drivers racing this week have never seen it in action. Like driver of the number 3 car for Richard Childress Racing, Austin Dillon. He was only 6 years old when the last race took place in 1996. Photojournalist Brian Hall sat down with him to learn what it means to race at North Wilkesboro Speedway.
There's a lot of history at this place. My dad raced here. He was able to win a late model race here and take an elevator ride. A lot of good memories. And for me as a kid, I've always driven by here and kind of looked at this place as a ghost because I just don't remember the times that we've had here. But I've heard it from my family, the friends, my grandfather, everybody at RCR. And to finally get that opportunity to get on track in front of a sold-out house, it's going to be awesome. It's just right down the road from home. So it feels like home. It's beautiful up here. I feel like once you get up here, you better be expected to stay up here because it's going to be a crowded place. I'm excited about it though. I mean, it's challenging. It's got a lot of character to it, kind of like the signs that you see. The patina, the track has that too, and it's rough and gritty, and you got to try and take care of your tires. It's cool to see the progress that they made, and that Marcus and SMI have taken this as a challenge and really made it beautiful again. They're going to have it prime and one of those places that you want to come and visit. Hopefully this is like a Masters kind of for us as NASCAR, like an Augusta feel, that old time classic that you want to come watch. And you know, Darlington has that feel, and this place is going to have it too.
And as Hannah mentioned, the first race for All-Star Week kicks off at 7:30 tonight, the ECMD 150 for late model stock cars. Tomorrow, it's the Crossroads Harley-Davidson 75 and the Window World 125, which will include Dale Earnhardt Jr. Don't miss our in-depth special about the return to racing. We're looking into the refurbished track and what the comeback means for the area, Thursday starting at 5:15 p.m.
Right now, lawmakers in Raleigh are about to vote to override a veto from Governor Roy Cooper. If you'll remember, on Saturday, Governor Cooper vetoed a bill that would ban most abortions. If the Senate votes to override the veto today, it will then head to the House. Republican lawmakers have a supermajority in the House and Senate. That means they could override a governor veto as long as every Republican lawmaker votes in favor. If that were to happen, it would make the bill law.
And regarding this bill, all abortions would be allowed up until 12 weeks. There are restrictions after that. For example, abortions in the case of rape or incest would be allowed up to 20 weeks. Life-threatening risks to the baby would be allowed up to 24 weeks, but there would be no limit if the mother's life is at risk. The bill also has more medical and paperwork requirements for women and physicians. It requires a woman to make an in-person visit at least 72 hours before an abortion procedure and a follow-up visit afterward. The legislation also sets aside $160 million in child care access, maternal health care, and paid parental leave for teachers and state employees.
Lawmakers are trying to close a loophole from the gun permit bill that passed this year. The goal now is to stop domestic violence abusers from getting a gun. In order to do that, they have to have attached a clause to the abortion ban bill. It creates a misdemeanor crime of domestic violence. When the gun permit will be passed, it took away background checks done by sheriff's offices. Gun retailers had to depend solely on federal background checks. The problem is that those don't always pick up domestic violence crimes from North Carolina. That's because North Carolina doesn't have an actual crime of domestic violence. The courts often label them as assault. The change in the abortion ban would create new crime on the national background system would flag.
Meantime, state senators are also debating the proposed budget introduced by Republicans recently. It spends the same amount as the House proposal, but offers smaller pay raises for workers. Other differences include competing prescription policy and what to do with $3 billion in revenue.
The countdown to raise the federal debt ceiling is on, with lawmakers needing to pass a plan by June 1st. But new numbers show the current House plan would kick 5,300 children here in North Carolina out of Head Start. The deal proposes cutting non-defense spending by 22%. That would trickle down to Head Start across the country, including here. About 21,000 children in our state were enrolled in Head Start programs in 2021. So if the deal would go through, 25% of kids enrolled would be cut from the program. Again, a deal needs to be reached by June 1st. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
This weekend, the sounds of Piedmont blues will fill LeBauer Park in downtown Greensboro as the Carolina Blues Festival kicks off on Saturday. One of the featured performers is Little Pink Anderson. He will take the stage. Now, his career spans decades, and it started with him tap dancing with his father, Pink Anderson, when he was only 3 years old. We caught up with him today before he hits the stage on Saturday to get his perspective of the blues, and he says it's more about the stories than the notes on the page.
The blues isn't music. The blues is the experience of a culture. It's an experience of a people expressed through music. You know, that's where all the conflict comes in today. Blues is black, the blues is white, the blues is whatever. The blues is actually cultural, but it's not the music. Anybody can play the 12 note into 12 bars or whatever. Anybody can do that. Not anybody carries the experiences of the blues. Now, when you go back, you can go back to Muddy, you can go back to BB, you can go back to anybody that you consider great. And there's a difference between a blues player and a blues man.
And you can hear Little Pink Anderson this Saturday at the Carolina Blues Festival's gates at LeBauer Park open at 1:30. The music starts at 2. It all closes down at 11. There are 8 acts, lots of food and drink vendors, and you can get your tickets at piedmontblues.org. I love what he said. He said there's a difference between somebody that just plays the blues and somebody that's a blues man, somebody that lives it, that has stories that go back. He talked about back in his day when he was with his dad, he said, I was just a little kid, we'd play for $5. And he said, and sometimes people would pay us $2 or $3. And you just have to accept it and move on. He said it was a different time. So those stories of survival back then, especially as a musician, really hard. And it's just great. He tells stories about himself and his dad.
As he said, it's a culture, it's an identity, it's a history even, and it's so much deeper than the words on the pages. So I love how he describes that. Because as we were saying yesterday, you know, a lot of young folks think, oh, the blues, but it really is that deep-rooted history there.
And it is not, you know, he said, yes, it's closely tied with black culture, but it is everyone, like all types of music have some sort of a root
from
in
it,
blues.
and like we said, rock and roll.
Even country. I mean, country and Western has a deep connection with blues.
And when it comes to words on the page, I've always been so impressed by people who were able to write songs.
I know.
Yes.
And I've always wondered whether that's something that you can learn or if you're just gifted with it.
I think it's a combination of
I
the
do
two,
too.
but I think some people just have a gift for it, because you have some people who write songs for all the stars out there, and they might not be the one in the front, but they know how to sell a record that's a hit, and I think that takes a special skill.
It really is a special. I think you know, a lot of people that write really good ballads and that type of thing have gone through hardships. I mean, that's how they get that out, is by writing it, and then it takes a good music person to come in and make it sing. So.
I always like to, when I see like some of those good songwriters who say, you know what, I'm sick of giving all the credit to the person who performs this. I'm going to start performing
Yeah,
this.
and that you see that a lot, like Neo.
Yeah.
He's written a lot of songs for people, and Carrie Hilson, a lot of people in the game.
They're like, you know what, let's just do it ourselves.
Yeah.
That's why people love Taylor Swift. She writes all her own stuff. Yeah. All right, we're coming right back. Stay there. We're just checking in with the folks at the National Weather Service, and we see this severe thunderstorm watch, which really is from Forsyth and Guilford, Davidson, Randolph County north, and then all across our border counties on Virginia, basically from Danville all the way over really to Bristol, Tennessee. That is a severe thunderstorm watch, and that will run until 10 o'clock tonight. Let's look at the radar, and we mentioned this earlier, this one cell around Martinsville and Danville, that's kicking up a little dust up that way. It looked fairly strong there for a little bit. In fact, we have a severe thunderstorm warning until 5 o'clock, and that's for Franklin, Henry, and Pennsylvania counties. The wind speeds within that thunderstorm cell, we're seeing some gusts upwards of 60 miles per hour, which is pretty consistent, and that's fairly normal for a significant thunderstorm. Hailstones within there, just based on radar returns and the data we're getting, shows that they could be as thick as an inch in diameter here. And this is all radar indicated as far as the hail goes. That's basically some mathematical equations that go on there. We have not had reports of that just yet. We could, though. Watching a lot of this, very active across the deep south into Alabama and Mississippi and northern parts of Georgia. And we're in the middle of all this and right on the borderline of a lot of instability back to the north toward West Virginia and Kentucky. They've had tornado warnings up that way already, but for us, we're just waiting. And we think our situation will be a little bit later, except for those Virginia counties or southern Virginia counties from Cana, Virginia and Galax all the way over to Danville. We'll be watching you guys a little closely in the short term here. So one kind of broken area, a little prefrontal trough goes by, then the cold front actually moves through, and that will change our forecast as we head into the next couple of days. In fact, high temperatures tomorrow struggle to get to 80, but after that we get a little bit of a cool snap for Thursday and Friday, and then some slight rain chances back in for your weekend, but not really great chances even by then. We only see about a 20 to 30% chance. I want you to look at the storm threats, though. This is tonight from right now until as late as 10 or 11 o'clock. It's a moderate risk for wind damage and kind of low for hail, although we could see that the tornado and flood risk is the lowest of all of those. So tonight we'll go with these evening thunderstorms happening before midnight. After that, we should see a little bit of a change in our outlook, but that's a very mild overnight low, 62. Tomorrow, partly cloudy. We're in kind of the sweet spot now for the next 2 or 3 days, so 80 degrees for your Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, it gets a little cool for this time of the year. We should be close to 78 this time of the year. We go 72 on Thursday. It's partly cloudy, very comfortable on Friday, 74. An evening shower Saturday, but again, that's a 30% chance, not a great one, 78. And then we'll start to clear out just in time for the All-Star Race. North Wilkesboro looks like they're in good shape. We will watch that. There is a 20%, but not a great one. 80 degrees for the high temperature. Hold that 80 into Monday, Tuesday, but rain chances leave us by then. Overnight lows in the mid to upper 50s, and we'll see partly cloudy skies to start next week.
There's a new idea taking off to give people better access to free books. A school district in South Carolina installed book vending machines around the county. They each have 300 books for pre-K to 12th grade. District leaders say they hope the stories will represent their students.
We also selected books that mirrored our student population. So for those students that are multilingualistic students, we selected books to match and tailor to their needs as well. And so our thought is that when students come to the book vending machine, they will see themselves in a book and perhaps select that book. And again, our goal there is to allow children opportunities to see themselves in books. We're giving them an opportunity to travel through a book. And in addition to that, we're thinking that books will give children strength when it comes to being problem solvers.
So the books are free, but you do have to earn them. Students will be able to earn coins to buy books based on good actions in the classroom.
Such a great idea. Well, reading is fundamental. So what makes a good book? I did ask you on my Facebook page. Winston Grant says a strong start to keep you interested. Emmett wrote, I love nonfiction, so they must be very informative. Cheryl, a mystery that I'm wanting to solve. Mark says one that makes you laugh so loud that everyone on the plane looks at you funny. And then Michael says the kind you watch on television. That
Likes a
doesn't
movie.
count.
I like what Michael said. I honestly am not a book reader. I
Really?
just don't. I don't do it, and I don't know why.
You know, I don't either. I mean, I read, no. I've done audiobooks. The last, I was going to say I read Where the Crawdads Sing, but I didn't. I listened to that on tape as well.
That still counts.
Yeah, I've done 3 books that way recently, and I love it. I'm doing Will Smith's autobiography right now, so it's really interesting. That's not the same as reading, though. I guess doesn't count.
You're actually not obviously reading, but you're still getting what the book is giving out. And
Consuming
you know,
it.
some of these books are like 500 pages, like the autobiographies. You know, an audiobook would be a good choice. I do like to read. I probably could read more than I should. You know, I used to pleasure read a lot back in the day, but I like a book that is a page turner that gets me sucked in, because what I don't like is when I have to read a line over and over again.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking, what am I going to eat for dinner tonight?
And
What
then you're
did
like, did I
so-and-so
just
say
read
earlier
this?
today? And then I'm like, I cannot get off of this page, so it really has to be something that grabs my attention so I can keep flipping.
That's
the
me. I
pages.
read the same thing over and over, and I'm like, I need to stop because
Yeah.
I'm not reading.
I even do that at work sometimes.
Yeah.
People will often ask me, like they probably asked you too, do you read? Are you reading anything? Do you read books? And what I tell them jokingly, I'm like, I only read if it's scrolling across the screen on the teleprompter. That's the only thing that I read. I'm also just so amazed by people who are speed readers.
Yes.
Where they're able to like read books very quickly.
Yes.
And retain the knowledge.
So my god sister is an avid reader, and when we were younger, she would read a book a week. I don't know. She's someone who was really into books, and I remember her being a speed reader.
I took a speed reading course.
Really?
And it helps me reading a teleprompter, but with books or something, I still lose my interest so quickly. But all right, let's talk about NASCAR again, because we haven't talked about that enough, have we? Today is the start of NASCAR All-Star Week. We're giving you a live picture of people going to the track for the ECMD 150 race. That'll be at 7:30 tonight. Right now they're gearing up for the qualifying rounds. They start in 15 minutes. We have live coverage inside and outside the track throughout our shows today. We'll be right back. Well, today is the start of NASCAR All-Star Week. You're looking at a live picture of the track. We just talked about this, that ECMD 150 race. That starts at 7:30 tonight.
Right now, they are gearing up for the qualifying rounds. They start in 15 minutes. We have live coverage inside and outside of the track throughout our shows today. Gonna be a lot of fun.
Boy, I'm excited. People are excited. They're getting ready. Oh, man. I think about how long that people have been waiting for this track to come back to life.
Years and years and years. I mean, it's been a long time. It is not just, I shouldn't say, not just for folks in North Wilkesboro. This is a statewide thing, right? To bring back one of the great short tracks in NASCAR and to see those people already filling it. Doesn't it seem like people have been waiting out there, hanging out for like a week?
For days.
Just like waiting to
Camped
get
out.
in. Yeah.
Right? I mean, they did start moving in over the weekend as far as camping goes. So yeah, they've made it into a full-time event. And I was just amazed at the story that our photographer Brian Hall did about some of the racers who were just so young when the track
like
really
6 years
kind
old.
of folded.
Yes.
That, I mean, Austin Dillon, I think it was, that said that he was just 6 years old. So I mean, this is an exciting day for really all of NASCAR.
So there are two shows at this race. One is the race, the other are the people in the infield. When I've covered NASCAR races before, and I'm usually a feature reporter, so we go in the infield, and these people that bring their campers from all over. You saw somebody from your home state. There was somebody from Wisconsin that had driven down in a camper, and they camped there the whole time, and it's a party. Let's just say that.
And they might be getting a wet party.
Yeah, I was about to say, how's the weather going to impact?
Had one shower that's already gone through, but let's go ahead and talk about this because we're going to see these kind of scattered showers, hit or miss, even into the night as late as maybe 11 o'clock. So we'll watch for that. You can see even our hour by hour, and this is our computer forecast model, and 8, 9, 10, and 11 o'clock, even midnight, it shows the lightning strike icon in there, which basically means there's a possibility that we could see a thunderstorm or two, and it's starting to heat up a little bit. We have this severe thunderstorm watch, which now is pretty much every county in the viewing area except Montgomery, and that is until 10 o'clock tonight. We'll be watching that. The radar has been pretty active to the north. There's that cell around Martinsville and Danville, and let's check that. We're seeing that severe thunderstorm warning until 5 o'clock for Henry and Pennsylvania counties. It has moved out of Henry County, so moving on to the east, and that's really just north of Martinsville over to Chatham and down to Danville. South Boston, you may be in line for that as well, with wind speeds estimated within that storm of 60 miles per hour, and hailstones could develop as thick as an inch in diameter, so we'll watch for that. It is active to the south too, the deep south from Mississippi and Alabama over to northern parts of Georgia. We're seeing things pick up there too, so we'll be right here kind of manning the ship for you as we head into the night. This cold front, there's two different lines here, right? There's one that's kind of a trough of instability, and then another cold front will move through. That first trough is causing these thunderstorm, or the severe possibility of thunderstorms for us tonight. I think it's more for the triad, maybe a 7 to 10 kind of time frame, but we'll be watching that. And then after that goes through, the secondary front may bring an overnight shower, but after that we'll start to clear out a little bit and things look better. So for tonight, just keep an eye to the sky. Download that app. It is totally free, our app for you, whether it's Apple or Android. We've got you covered. 62 will be the low tonight. Most of these storms will be out of here by midnight, we hope. And then tomorrow's a different story. 80 degrees, partly cloudy, lower humidity with winds shifting out of the north will cool it down for you. So Thursday and Friday, 72 and 74 with those overnight lows in the 50s for the most part, low to mid. A good couple of days there. Saturday's not bad either, an evening shower, but it's only a 30% with a high of 78. And we build to race day there, 80 degrees, only a 20% chance of a shower, gradual clearing during the day. It looks picture perfect. Next week, right around 80 and partly cloudy for Monday, Tuesday.
Deep Roots Market is back open after criminals vandalized it yesterday morning. Investigators say someone drove a car through the door of the downtown Greensboro store, then stole the cryptocurrency ATM inside. The store reopened today. Police say they've arrested one suspect and are looking for others.
The Rockingham County Sheriff's Office says threats made via Snapchat about possible violence have been determined non-credible. They say the threats are the same as others circulating online in several states. They are non-specific and do not target any school in particular. The Sheriff's Department released a statement saying, in part, all threats are taken seriously and thoroughly investigated. The Rockingham County Sheriff's Office is working with our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners to determine the origin of the threat, though it does not appear to be local. They also had deputies on campuses all day to make sure students and staff were safe.
The Randolph County Sheriff's Office is pushing for a felony charge against a child who threatened a shooting at a high school there. Deputies say the child threatened Eastern Randolph High School Sunday night. Investigators say they searched the child's home and determined the threat was not credible. The Sheriff's Office says it is seeking a felony charge through the juvenile justice system.
A woman accused of shooting a Greensboro police officer in the leg at an IHOP pleaded guilty and has been sentenced. It happened on December back in 2021. Police say they responded to a domestic dispute outside of the restaurant. When they arrived, Kadesia Clark reached for the officer's gun as they tried to break up the fight. Police say the gun went off in the struggle, hitting the officer. Last week, Clark pleaded guilty to 5 charges, including assault with a deadly weapon on a government official. A judge sentenced her to serve at least 3 years in prison.
Tight staffing is forcing the Greensboro Police Department to get creative. That includes sending command officers like Chief John Thompson out to cover shifts. Thompson directed traffic at a race along Elm Street over the weekend. He told us 6 other commanders joined him at the event and that his officers need a break.
We had to tell 15 officers that you have to work either on a day off or come in and put in extra hours. And our staff, they're stressed, they're overworked.
The department needs 120 officers. GPD asked City Council to increase starting pay by more than $10,000 in hopes of improving recruitment.
One reason local agencies are struggling to fill vacancies could be because of how dangerous the job can be. Today, Guilford County held a memorial service to honor fallen law enforcement officers. The ceremony featured an honor guard made up of several agencies, a wreath laying, and a 21-gun salute. Family members of the fallen officers placed a single red rose on a wreath to honor their absent loved one. The ceremony was part of National Police Memorial Week. High Point Police Department is also holding a memorial service for fallen officers. It starts at 6 tonight at Green Street Baptist Worship Church. It is open to the public and encourage people to come show their support for the families.
Maybe you've heard May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. As some people online are wondering why it's celebrated this month specifically. Our Verify team looked into the history.
Turning the calendar to a month that needs no abbreviation, May is worth celebrating for a lot of reasons, including the spotlight on our AAPI families and communities. Who exactly are we talking about, and why is May AAPI Heritage Month? We turn to these sources to verify. AAPI stands for Asian American Pacific Islander, those whose ancestry and culture comes from this part of the world. That's more than 19 million people, and Asian Americans are the fastest growing racial or ethnic group in the U.S., according to Pew Research Center analysis. There's a lot of diversity of nationalities and ethnicities within that AAPI label, which is why not everyone agrees on it. People who are Hmong or Indian or Samoan or Vietnamese or Filipino, for example, each bring their own different lived experiences to the table. On one hand, the Smithsonian details how solidarity among Asians, especially since the 1960s, has led to increased visibility. But there's concern that the unique traits and needs of some groups are minimized when lumped together. But May is a chance to share and celebrate this diversity, as well as all we have in common with others. After 3 years of AAPI Heritage Month by way of annual presidential proclamations, this 1992 Act of Congress put it on the calendar permanently, recognizing, quote, Asian and Pacific Americans have contributed significantly to the development of the arts, sciences, government, military, commerce, and education in the United States. According to the official .gov webpage on the topic, May was chosen to commemorate the arrival of the first Japanese immigrants in May of 1843, as well as the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad, built by mostly Chinese immigrants, in May of 1869. No matter your heritage, May is a great opportunity to support and learn more about the contributions of the AAPI communities in this country and in your town. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
If you want to celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Month, experts say it's really simple. Try food from an Asian country or Pacific Island. Try yoga or martial arts, or listen to music from those cultures.
And we're taking a live look right now. NASCAR week, of course, underway. This is a live picture from North Wilkesboro, the Speedway, where the ECMD 150 race kicks off here in about 3 hours, a little less than that. Right now, the qualifying rounds are underway. We'll have live coverage for you. Stick around. The 4 to 5 continues in just a minute.
Hey, hey, hey. Salt and vinegar flavored crickets. Yeah. Frying it up in a pan. I know this 4 to 5 crew and they like the sound of something sizzling on the stove. We're always talking food on the show, so this is a stir fry, friends, made with worms.
No.
Interesting.
No. Can't do it.
That's a no?
That's a
no
no.
for me.
That's gonna be a no for me,
Yeah.
dog.
I don't know if it's a no, but I want to know more.
Okay, so we're gonna do that. Here's the thing: insect protein could help the global food crisis. Researchers, though, are not suggesting that you just put insects on your plate.
Our interest is to make insects as an alternative for the use of soybean-derived proteins. To have a more sustainable production of proteins, we need alternatives, and I see insects as a perfect tool.
All right, so farming insects takes less land and water. It's estimated up to 1.2 trillion insects are raised on farms each year, as companies are now racing, really, to find a high-protein, low-carb solution to feed animals and the world's population. That would be me and you. So his research really is turning insects not into like insects. So we got the worms over there, right?
Yeah.
But he's really turning it into like a protein powder.
Or that
of
I can
sorts.
handle.
Yeah.
Right, so that you can put it in things.
That's fine. That
It's
would
just
work.
when you see them swarming
Yes,
like that,
yes.
it makes it uncomfortable and you think it's a bug, but if it doesn't look like a bug.
And if it doesn't taste like a bug.
And if it doesn't taste like a bug.
So I don't even know what that tastes like. My wife loves the show Naked and Afraid.
Yes.
And so they're always pulling bugs up and eating them to keep going to get some sort of protein. And I think if you're in that situation, I might be able to do it, but not,
Yeah, I don't want to eat anything that's also moving,
No,
right?
no.
Have you guys ever tried a bug before?
Yes, probably like a cricket or a grasshopper.
Yeah, I've had a cricket before.
Was
And it
it
was just
chocolate
crunchy?
covered or?
It was, so I got it from the Science Center. It was a bacon cheddar flavor, but it kind of tastes like a sunflower seed. It was like the shell of the cricket.
Okay, all right. So how about we end on a protein that we all have had? Okay, let's
Please.
go. The national holiday calendar says it is National Barbecue Day. At a restaurant or in your own backyard, today is the day to celebrate throwing all the yumminess on the grill. So I ask you as we end all this, what is your favorite thing to grill? And I know you love to grill.
Steaks, I love.
Yes, me
Just
too.
a thick,
Barbecue
juicy
chicken.
steak.
I like barbecue chicken for sure.
I'm steaks with you. Burger second.
Yeah, I'm a burger
Burgers
person
are
for
good.
sure.
I like to do. I want to try. I also like to do all of like the sides too. So like a grilled corn on the cob if I'm having a steak.
yeah, okay.
Asparagus, throw that on there.
I love kebab. Now I
Yeah.
love that.
I love grilled corn.
And when
Yeah,
it's
me
like
too.
nice weather out, you just see
great.
it and you smell it in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
You're taking that afternoon walk or
You're like,
whatever, and you're like,
Yes.
Somebody's
what's
grilling.
going on? All right. Well, you can chime in on your favorite thing to grill. You can go to my Facebook page. I'm going to put a post up there for it, and you can say, hey, this is what I want for dinner.
And hopefully someone will make it for you.
That's right. We'll be
As Tanya mentioned earlier, today is National Barbecue Day, and North Carolina is one of the barbecue capitals of the United States. So of course, we're going to talk about it. But it's not just one kind of barbecue the Tar Heel State is known for. There's Eastern style, which is a vinegar-based sauce with a peppery kick. Then Western style is a little sweeter with its tomato ketchup base. But one thing is always the same. It has to be pork.
Gosh, now I'm starving. So I asked you on Facebook to name the best barbecue place in the state. And here's what you said. Brenda said Butts and Such. Never heard of that one, at Carolina Beach. But Tim Buckley introduced her to their barbecue, and she said their hush puppies are the bomb. Kimberly says, of course, we love Stamey's, but when we get anywhere near China Grove, we love Gary's barbecue. She said, I think Gary's only accepts cash, so be prepared. Melita says Wilbur's in Goldston or Parker's in Greenville, the best sauce and the best sides in the state. Iris said, personally, I don't like barbecue as such, but I find country barbecue is the best, and it doesn't have all all that vinegar where all you taste is the vinegar. Sharon says Lexington barbecue, if you ever eat there, you'll never go anywhere else. A lot of my friends changed to this place. Very lean, no large pieces of fat, and you don't even need sauce. That's how good it is.
Yeah, you know it's good when you don't need
Yes.
to drench it in sauce.
Bibbs in Winston-Salem is one of my favorites. Stamey's here is just a standard, right? My dad always wanted to go to Stamey's, but I think Bibbs is one of the best, and they've won regional awards too.
I have a question though. Where could I find some really good barbecue nachos? Is there a place locally that sells barbecue nachos? Have you ever had them
Yes,
before?
and
They're
I
so
love it.
good. But since I moved here, I haven't had any, and that's one of my favorite things to get.
Go to Mac's Speed Shop.
That's it. Yes, I knew. I was trying to think of it. Yes.
Nice.
For being a chain, if you will,
Yep, small.
I love their barbecue. It's very good, but I'm pretty sure that they have nachos there.
I'll tell you a place that's not a barbecue place, but their barbecue is great, is Natty Greens. They have really good barbecue plate. Yes, I love it.
I'm also a fan of Stamey's, and I think that my key to finding a good barbecue place is where it looks like just like a very small diner, and you get like this old school tray that you used in elementary
That's
school
usually
at the
when it's
lunch
the best.
cafeteria, like those kinds of places with like the tall plastic red Coca-Cola cups.
Yes,
that they
the
put
see-through
sweet tea
sort.
in.
Yes.
Yeah, and I
my
love
gosh.
Hush Puppies. They're good. I've been going to Cookout and getting their Hush Puppies, but I need to find a local barbecue place.
I
to
like
get
Hush
some
Puppies that are kind of sweet. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that I love.
Or have you ever had them when they have little pieces of corn inside
Yes,
of the...
those are good.
Those are
There
good.
is a good one too that I'm not going to say the name of it, but they have a cinnamon butter that you dip
Oh,
the Hush Puppies into.
I know that. Love that.
I think I know that too because I've had that before.
We will be quiet now. No promos here. Let's look at our forecast and see what's going on. We got to watch the skies, right? Because we're talking about this thunderstorm chance. In fact, we have that severe thunderstorm watch for the entire viewing area except for Montgomery County. That's everybody north of Montgomery County until 10 o'clock tonight. Some of the thunderstorms have started to kick up to the north. Danville is in line for one. We also see this. It just moved through Wilkesboro. Now it's into the Elkin area. So just south of Dobson and probably Pilot Mountain in the next 30 minutes or so, you'll see some rain. Wow, this one really starting to grow in intensity here. This is around Martinsville, and really the heavier stuff now is over toward Chatham and Danville. That is a severe thunderstorm warning until 5 o'clock for Pittsylvania County, and then it's going to move on to the east. But we mentioned this earlier, South Boston, just kind of get ready because that's headed in your direction also. We go out to a wider shot, general stable instability all across the southeast from parts of the deep south all the way up across Tennessee. And in Kentucky and West Virginia, we've seen, and eastern Tennessee, we've seen lots of severe thunderstorm warnings and even a couple of tornado warnings up that way. The Futurecast shows, and this goes till that's about 7:30, Statesville in line for that. Then the Triad really gets this later tonight between about 9 and 10. That's 10 o'clock tonight based on this particular forecast model, and by midnight it's moving to the east of us. Troy may see a severe thunderstorm at that hour, but after that we'll see some gradual clearing. We look at our 7-day forecast. So if you make it through tonight, we're in the clear here. 80 degrees tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. Overnight lows are pretty mild tonight with that 62-degree low. Tomorrow, gradual clearing. It'll be nice, but much cooler Thursday and Friday with winds shifting out of the north. So 72 and 74 for your Thursday, Friday. The normal high is 78, and those are the only 2 days in our 7-day that are below normal. Saturday, Sunday, looking to the race weekend here. 78 on Saturday. There is a 30% chance of an evening shower. That is not a great chance, and we'll take those rain chances down and out. Sunday, that 20% could be earlier in the day. I think the race is going to be in good shape, but we will watch, and 80 degrees for the high temperature. That's picture perfect. Next week, though, as we go into Monday, Tuesday, we're in a stretch of good days with a normal high of 78. That 80-degree high is right where we should be with just scattered clouds. Now, overnight lows are going to be a little cool on Friday morning with that 53-degree low, but after that, we're in the mid to upper 50s for lows all the way through Tuesday of next week.
And one place they are keeping an eye on the radar today, Wilkes County. This is a live picture from North Wilkesboro Speedway, where the ECMD 150 race will begin in just about 2.5 hours. Right now, they are preparing for the qualifying rounds about to start. Apparently, practice took a little bit longer than expected, so we're going to be getting underway here shortly. Stay right here for all of our live coverage.
Won 21 races driving in the Cup Series. It was inducted into the NASCAR.
Hi there, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois.
The fact that you forgot my name truly just upsets me beyond anything else in this entire world.
Cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Not only is today a big day for NASCAR fans, it is a sentimental day for those who were born and raised in Wilkes County.
Hey Carmen, hello, I'm in the V set. You good with that shot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hey, it's time for my 2 cents. Today I'm talking about my youngest child, Drew, my little girl, my only girl, one of the 4, and she had a big adventure this week. So my wife, her birthday, my daughter's birthday is back in March. Just trying to figure out a time they could do this. They kind of combined a Mother's Day trip with a birthday trip for Drew. So my wife and my daughter took off for New York City. Take a look. Now luckily, my daughter's one of her best friends could go too with her mom, so it's 4 of them in a girls trip, and here they are on the plane heading there. My little girl, who's 10, thinks she's a world traveler, and she is having a blast. They go to New York City, they do a carriage ride in Central Park, they get pictures made in Times Square, they go to a Broadway show, they're doing it all. And it made me remember memories. How important are memories? You can have all the toys in the world that you want when you're a kid. You could have all the Lego sets. You could have all the baby dolls. But what it really boils down to are those memories and those special times with parents, with siblings, with family. And this is one of those times. So as I look through these pictures that my wife keeps sending me and just love the fact that my little girl gets to experience stuff that I didn't get to until I was an adult, it just makes me realize how important these girls' trips are, how important it is with me and the boys back here at home. These are wonderful memories that never leave us, right? And they're the most important currency of childhood. So parents, let's all remember that when we're thinking about gifts to get our kids. Time with our kids is more important than anything we could buy. But that's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
We start WFMY News 2 at 5 with a severe weather chance in the Triad. Right now, storms starting to pop up in spots with a chance of strong wind and hail.
And Tim is keeping an eye on the radar today. Tim, you've been giving us a window